From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, August the 13th, 2018. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu led a top-level security cabinet meeting yesterday to discuss ongoing violence from Gaza. While there have been no rockets launched at Israel from Gaza since midnight Thursday night, Friday saw thousands of Palestinians rioting at the Gaza border fence, many of whom threw rocks at IDF soldiers, burned tires, threw a grenade at soldiers, and tried to breach the fence, as well as some who launched arson kites and balloons over the fence. Earlier yesterday, the Prime Minister had made it clear that Israel demands a total ceasefire. He said, "We are in the midst of a campaign against terror in Gaza. It entails an exchange of blows. It will not end in one strike. Our demand is clear, a complete ceasefire. We will not suffice with less than this." On Friday, a large arson kite landed on a power line near an Israeli kibbutz, causing blackouts in a number of homes. But the number of such devices seemed to have dropped in number yesterday, with only one device apparently sparking a fire in southern Israel. And an Israeli TV report yesterday said that Israel has prevented tens of thousands of balloons from being shipped to Gaza out of concern they would be used to launch the flaming devices. Channel 10 reported that 3 shipping containers carrying tens of thousands of balloons designated for Gaza were stopped at the Israeli port of Ashdod and confiscated. Britain's Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn is once again being condemned for alleged anti-Semitic acts and statements. On Saturday, Britain's Daily Mail newspaper published photos of Corbyn holding a wreath at a cemetery in Tunisia in 2014. It appears from the photos that he was standing near the graves of Palestinian terrorists involved in the Munich massacre, the murder of 11 Israeli athletes at the Munich Olympics in 1972. Corbyn said he was present but didn't think he was involved in remembering the Munich terrorists, but rather was there to remember what he called the terror incident in 1985 when Israel bombed the PLO headquarters in Tunisia. The bombing, which killed some 60 PLO members, also left a number of civilian bystanders dead. Israel carried out the bombing in response to the executions by PLO terrorists of 3 Israeli tourists aboard a yacht off the coast of Cyprus the week before. Britain's Home Secretary Sajid Javid condemned the photos and wrote on Twitter, "If this was the leader of any other major political party, he or she would be gone by now." And on Friday, a video clip emerged of Corbyn from 2013 where he compares Israeli rule in the West Bank to the Nazis' occupation of Europe. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reacted to Corbyn's actions and remarks on his Twitter account, writing, "The laying of a wreath by Jeremy Corbyn on the graves of the terrorists who perpetrated the Munich massacre and his comparison of Israel to the Nazis deserves unequivocal condemnation from everyone, left, right, and everything in between." The president of the Philippines will visit Israel next month. The office of President Rodrigo Duterte confirmed today that he will make an official trip to Israel on September the 2nd. It will be the first by a Filipino leader since diplomatic ties were established between Israel and the Philippines in 1967. Just 2 years ago, Duterte was under fire for comparing his crackdown on drugs in the country to the Holocaust. He later apologized. Amazon said it was removing racist and anti-Semitic products from its site being sold by third-party sellers. This in response to a letter from Democratic Representative Keith Ellison of Minnesota to Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, urging the company to stop selling products that promote hateful and racist ideologies like Nazi paraphernalia. Ellison said he was glad to see the removal because a corporation as powerful as Amazon should not be materially fueling the rise of hate groups in our country. Jewish-American columnist and author Peter Beinart was detained at Israel's Ben Gurion airport last weekend. Beinart shared the experience in the foreword, writing that he was questioned for about an hour over his political views. Prime Minister Netanyahu said he was informed of the incident, which he said happened because of a, quote, administrative mistake, adding that Israel is an open society which welcomes all, critics and supporters alike. He said Israel is the only country in the Middle East where people voice their opinions freely and robustly. The Shin Bet also apologized to Beinart. The Times of Israel reported that Israel's security agency said officers at the airport had made a judgment error. They said, "We're sorry for the distress caused to Mr. Beinart," adding that the Shin Bet's chief had ordered an investigation into the matter. A bipartisan bill was introduced last week in the Senate against those who use civilians as human shields. Republican Senator Ted Cruz of Texas and Democratic Senator Joe Donnelly of Indiana spearheaded the bill that singles out Hamas and Hezbollah by name as terror groups who use this tactic. Many Jewish groups have lent their support to the bill, including the Anti-Defamation League, who together with pro-Israel lobby AIPAC is urging lawmakers to co-sponsor the legislation, which would impose penalties against all terror groups that practice this and urge the international community to do more to stop the practice. A similar bill passed in the House back in February. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS from Monday, August the 13th. At 7 o'clock, it's The Wisdom of Dr. Ruth. At 8, Jeffrey Passell, who is a senior demographer at the Pew Research Center, talks about the history of immigration to the United States and the role immigration will play in shaping the future of America. That's at the Jewish Historical Society of Fairfield County, Connecticut. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with 3 leading Jewish historians on L'chaim. At 10, remarks from comic book creator Neil Gaiman at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's the Israeli debate program Frenemies. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, August the 13th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.